I started The Flash, and then I had to go through those seasons, that season, and then the next season I would start Supergirl, and then the season after that I would start Green. See, now that you're doing it wrong. You can't be upstairs. You can't be downstairs.
You can't. You don't have a microphone too. So how are you going to even start talking?
Bark.
Well, there we go. We're into it now.
Oh shit! Here
How
it
about
goes.
Here it goes. Another episode.
Brat.
All right. Yeah. So we got.
It's Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Thanks, Hallmark Company.
Yeah. It's Valentine's Day today, and that's Hallmark's fault.
I mean, it's always been the 14th of February since the Gregorian calendar was invented. Valentine's Day probably is in commemoration of a saint. I don't know what Saint Valentine did.
I don't either. He had an adult diaper fetish and went around shooting people with arrows.
You think? This is pretty extreme. Valentine's. I feel like there's a Saint Valentine's Day massacre or something that I remember from Prohibition days.
I feel like I remember they made a movie about that.
Definitely. No. And Valentine's Day. Yeah.
Valentine's Day is one of those days. It's polarizing. You know, if you don't have someone to love up on, it's like the bummer day of the year.
Oh, sure.
And then if you do, it's like, oh, extra lovey-dovey day of the year.
It's in the winter too, and winter is like the higher suicide rate times.
It's also a more appropriate time to cuddle. It's not so hot.
Sure. Yeah, I know. I mean, cuddling when it's hot is like a bummer.
It can
like,
be.
Don't touch me. I'm sleeping.
Yeah, I've had that experience before. There's something about a lot of people. There's something about a bigger percentage of people born in the summertime because people are copulating more so in the winter when it's cold and comfortable to do so.
That makes sense. That totally makes sense. The internet tells me that there were several Saint Valentines who died on February 14th, two executed during the reign of Roman Emperor Claudius Gothicus in 269 to 270 AD, at a time when persecution of Christians was common. How do we know this? Because an order of Belgian monks spent 3 centuries collecting evidence for the lives of saints from manuscript archives around the world. So there were saints, and they were killed. They were called Valentini, this collection of martyred Saint Valentines. And by the 3rd century, one of them died in Africa. There was a priest named Valentinus, arrested during the reign of Gothicus, put into the custody of an aristocrat, slaughtered. There's no romance, not a hint of romance. This is a bunch of executed people. Lupercalia is the Roman celebration in mid-February, which originates as a ritual rural masculine cult involving the sacrifice of goats and dogs, which later evolved to an urban carnival of half-naked young men running through the streets of Rome, streaking people with thongs cut from the skins of newly killed goats. However, in 496 AD, Pope Gelasius denounced the rowdy festival.
The rowdy festival.
I haven't seen anything about why we buy people nice things. This article from the Smithsonian, it doesn't have anything for me. Valentine's Day.
It's all right.
It's all right. They have that candy.
The candy's
hearts.
good. The little chalk hearts. It's the little messages.
Mm-hmm. Pepto-Bismol stuff.
Good stuff.
It's different. Those other Necco wafers. Do you like those?
It's the same thing. It's
Is
just
it
a
the same
thinner.
exact thing, you
Well, I think it's just a thinned out version of a candy
Ooh,
heart.
they have chocolate Necco wafers, and those are terrible.
Those are terrible. I suppose though, Valentine's Day would be good. Not that this will come out next week, so everybody can, remember their Valentine's Day when they hear this next week. But it's a good segue here into my little list that I made for the day.
All right.
I made a list. I scoured the internet and I found some questions to ask someone on a first date.
Or is this like we're on a first date?
Well, it's like we're on a first date with whoever's listening for the first time,
Gotcha.
as it were.
Because I don't have this list in front of me, so yeah, I feel like you're gonna say them, and then I'm gonna answer those questions.
Yeah, you say them, and you can answer. You can choose not to answer if the
Gotcha.
answer's a bit
Gotcha.
too much there.
Saucy.
Start out with an easy beginner one, I suppose. You make your bed?
Every morning.
Why do you make your bed in the morning? Every day.
Well, when I was a kid, I used to get woke up with like pitchers of water and stuff.
Ooh.
And like, then the blankets are wet, and so you can't, if you make the bed, you got to change this whole bunch of work and stuff. When I was in rehab, they forced us to do military corners.
Oh yeah, you gotta fold it under like that. Yeah,
The military
the
corners
crease.
is where you tuck the back side first, like the excess length, you tuck the back under, and then you curve that side around the corner like you're wrapping a present, and then you bring the side of the bed down to make like a present corner.
Yeah.
For anyone who has never seen one of those before, it's what military corners are. Had to do that every day, 9 months. We all lived in a van, and I didn't have a bed for a long time, so I didn't need to do that. But I have a bed, and I choose to do it, A, because I have a dog, and dirty fucking dog feet on my bed. Like, I'm already dirty. When my dog gets under the blankets, like, theoretically, she's already been in this chair that I'm sitting in and, like, been all comfy and gotten her dirty feet less dirty over here. So when she is invited under the covers, that it will be the least amount of dirt brought there as possible. It just keeps it clean. Like, if I want to hang out on my bed, I'd rather, like, I can eat cookies on my bed.
And
Not
then
get
when
the crumbs under the bed.
right, that's a big problem for my bed situation. There's always a bunch of crumbs on the bed.
See, that's not good. I can't abide that.
I don't make the bed. Not that I really have the option to. My bed is it's about half dirty clothes pile and half bed, which I don't like, but you know, I have to share the bed with somebody who does like that, so that's fine.
Some people like to keep their dirty clothes on the ground. My partner enjoys to take her freshly done laundry, and she just keeps it in a pile on the ground. There's a clean clothes pile and a dirty clothes pile.
See,
that's my understanding.
I like that idea. That's a win for me.
It seems like a good. I get it. I feel like if I did that here, I would accumulate a large amount of hair and dirt
Absolutely.
on my clean clothes pile.
Yeah, our we don't really have a good situation as far as dirt-free floors or rugs or whatever.
I mean, if we cleaned once a week, things would be cleaner.
It would.
We try. It's a cycle. It's 5 people living in a house, literally designed for.
It's a 1-bedroom house.
2 people to live in, I
Yeah.
suppose. It was like a bachelor pad type house. When you think about the guy who owned it before, it's definitely like, hey baby, come on over to my man pad
Yeah.
sort of space.
Yeah. Okay, so let's do another question
Let's
here.
do another question.
If you were forced to be in the witness protection program, what would your new name be, and where would you be relocated?
I don't think that I get to choose my own name.
In this fantasy, you do.
If I get to pick any name, I feel like I can't answer that question because I'm constantly coming up with silly names for all kinds of things. And so what's on the board downstairs right now? Charlie Madonna.
Charlie Madonna. Perfect.
That's been my new name. People be like, "That's not your name." I whip out that ID. And
Here it is.
Damn.
Boom. Charlie Madonna.
Isn't that a good name though?
That is a good name. It's very good.
Pops.
Where would you get relocated to?
Well, the Witness Protection Program is America, right?
Yeah.
So like Hawaii or Alaska.
Yeah, that'd be.
Wait, Puerto Rico.
Ooh.
Right now, I think is an interesting time. I don't know what the government is up to, but like Puerto Rico's all fucked up down there, but their power situation is still out, and like they just had like some power plant explode, which then lost more people back to power again. Things are still terrible in Puerto Rico, and I feel like
Good place to move then.
I feel like sure. I mean, we've lived in tents. I've gone by with worse, and I feel like government, the Witness Protection Program is gonna like allot a certain amount of something.
They'll have to give you something, yeah.
You said I'm forced into it, right? I'm forced.
Yeah.
So I'll go to the Witness Protection Program in Puerto Rico. I feel like if people are looking for me here in the mainland, I don't know too many people who are zipping off to Puerto Rico on the regular.
That's a good point. It's still the United States. You don't need a passport to get there, is that right?
You don't need a passport to go to Puerto Rico.
Interesting.
It's a territory.
Interesting.
I had a friend who lived there for a little bit with his child and came back.
Tropical down there?
Yeah, it's tropical. It's a tropical locale.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little island. They get the hurricanes.
That's a good answer then. Puerto Rico? Yeah.
Charlie Madonna of
Charlie
Puerto
Madonna Rico. And then, okay, so you're down in Puerto Rico, and you have access to all the artists, living or dead, to paint your self-portrait. Or not your self-portrait, but to paint a portrait of you. Who's painting your portrait?
I guess I'm going to go with Alex Ross, who does many of the comic book covers that I truly enjoy. He's a watercolor artist, and fucking amazing. So him.
Can't say I'm surprised that you picked the comic book guy.
I mean, I'm sure my brain was like, oh, Van Gogh, like Monet.
Yeah,
I feel like that's trite to be like, oh, pick a classic, like, oh, Jackson Pollock, portrait, like, oh, no.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I picked Jim Davis, the guy that did the Garfield
oh,
comics.
not sure. Would it be like a caricature of you though? You said portrait.
No, photorealistic, but done by Jim Davis.
How would you know though if it's photorealistic?
I would know.
Can you? I guess is that a valid question? Can a person tell who the artist of a photorealistic painting was based on their style of photorealism?
That is interesting.
Isn't the point to be non-art? I was going to say non-artistic, but obviously you're artistic because you're choosing to paint in the style. But like it appears that it is not a painting, right?
Right.
Idea? So
it doesn't really have much flavor from the artist itself. You know, if you're just trying to duplicate an image exactly, there's not really. It's got to be super taxing on your brain to be able, to do that.
I would imagine like photorealism is a crazy. I've seen some of those paintings and they're like, I can't believe that's not.
I can't believe it's not a photo. Yeah.
Genre of art encompassing painting, drawing, and other graphic media in which an artist studies a photograph and then attempts to reproduce the image as realistically as possible in another medium. It's not just paintings. When did it start, though? Early 1960s. I guess that makes sense. Photos were only around for so long. But, I mean, they were doing photos like Abraham Lincoln's got a photo, Civil War times, 1860s, 1886. It took that long for someone to realize, oh, I'm going to make a painting of I'm going to paint like these photos. It's interesting thing there.
Yeah, paintings are something that, that kind of medium is not something that I'm very good at. You sit me down with a pen and a piece of paper, tell me to draw a picture with a palette of paints and a canvas and tell me to paint a picture. I can't get my mind around it. There's something that my brain, doesn't understand spatially when it comes to putting what I see in my mind on a piece of paper or something.
I took some art classes when I was in 7th or 8th grade, something like that, and was taught concepts of like perspective and distance and I don't even know concepts. I like to draw little cartoon things, and I like to draw what I see. That's like my favorite thing to do, I think, is to take whatever size piece of paper and then just like start with my like mustache at the center of the bottom of the paper, and then like my clothes spread out, and it's always like disproportionate because I'm not good at it, like a weird fisheye thing going on.
I like the drawings that you do. They kind of remind me of the style that Jerry Garcia used to have. He did a little bit of
oh, why, thank you.
yeah, because it's simplistic but complex at the same time. There's a lot going on within a kind of limited bag of tricks, as it were. It's good.
Sometimes I really surprise myself. I gave a tabby away, but there's some pictures around. I drew a cheeseburger. I don't know if you've seen that picture. As I drew a cheeseburger, I drew like a cigarette, and it looked very different from things that I usually draw. And I think it's because I was limited to the electronic tablet drawing, or whatever. But like they look, I'll whip them up sometime. I'll definitely send the cheeseburger because it's a good picture. But
yeah, I have to give me that and I'll put it up on there.
Art is a weird thing. Sometimes you're just inspired, and some things you can feel that you're doing better at something.
I think that's a part of the reason why I never really honed that skill, because it seemed too difficult for me to get something that I was satisfied to look at.
Sometimes, it's been a while. You eat psychedelics, and you see things in the wood, right? Like I could draw the thing the one time, but then it's drawn and it's always there, and then there's no longer more things to draw over it, and so like I feel like sometimes I still possess the ability to see a thing. I can see the thing based on like the contours in the wood, and I would like to draw it, and I could draw it on the wood because of those contours, and I clearly see that image. I have to add this here, and then bada boom, we can all see that it's a duck or whatever.
Yeah,
but I can't draw that duck on paper without having preconceived it because of the grain. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. It's like if you look up at the clouds of somebody and you see, a hot air balloon shaped out of the clouds, you can tell what that is, but to draw that just from your brain, that's something I can't really do.
Art is strange.
Yeah, I have a better time with the Photoshop because I can go back and forth and undo and redo and layer stuff. And starting off just drawing on a piece of paper, I have a hard time. I suppose I'll say it like this. I have a hard time seeing the final product in my mind and being able to take the appropriate steps necessary to get there. If I use the Photoshop, I put the little thing here, the little thing over there, and I need something behind it. I can just drag the layer down. And
I mean, I've definitely made more memes lately than I have drawings.
I had written the word memes down on my list. Let's talk about memes here for a minute.
Shit, man, memes blowing my mind. I got some static there. You hear that?
Yeah. Hang
on. Memes blow my mind. You know, like not just like, oh, an image macro, which is really what most memes are when people think of memes. The picture with the text, that's an image macro. I want to clarify that. But memes being the pervasive idea or concept that
well, okay,
mimetics,
I got the wiki pulled up here. I'll just read the first little bit here. A meme is an idea, behavior, or style that spreads from person to person within a culture, often with the aim of conveying a particular phenomenon, theme, or meaning represented by the meme. So, yeah, you say image macro, and the reason that people think that's a meme is because, it spreads around like a virus or something like that. And another thing, what does it say down here?
Memes adapt like viruses? Does it talk about that?
Yeah, it's a meme spread through the behavior that they generate in their hosts. Memes that propagate less proficiently may become extinct, while others may survive, spread, and, for better or worse, mutate.
Right, like anybody who's out there watching memes knows about the approval, disapproval meme. It's morphed into so many things. There's the Drake. Drake says no to the thing on the top, but then he says yes to the thing on the bottom, That's a version of from the 4chan, like the guy with the glasses who the door is closed. He says no and the door is open, or like the guy's not looking at his girlfriend, he's looking at the other thing. It's like this choice, or the car is turning left, the car is turning right. Like this, the meme like grows and changes and morphs, stays alive. But aside from the image macros, like that's just silly social media stuff. Like meme warfare is like an actual real thing that the army actually has invested like millions of dollars into, like the whole study and concept of memetics.
Mm-hmm.
And the degree of which I'm not even aware of how they're influencing me is so scary, because I can see like what little piddly influence is going on with the memes on the internet, like being a part of like strange small groups that I'm like, oh, you see a meme, and then like 3 days later it's on like the big meme page, and then everybody else sees it, and like, where did they see it? Did they see it on the same small page, And this is like this tracing of concepts. I think it's wildly interesting.
It's very interesting, and like there's like you were saying, it goes beyond even stuff on the internet. Things like fashion and trends in architecture and stuff like that could be considered memes.
Sure.
It says here again, the memetics, the discipline of memetics, which dates back to the mid-'80s, 1980s, provides an approach to evolutionary models of cultural information transfer based on the concept of the meme.
Who coined the term?
Dawkins. What's his name?
Richard Dawkins.
Richard Dawkins, yeah.
Who is a smart guy.
It was a geneticist, I think it said.
Richard Crick, if I'm not mistaken. His name's Richard Dawkins. Dawkins and Crick, they discovered the genome, or they coded the genome or something like that, the double helix thing.
Okay.
Big time science stuff. But then one of those guys fucked up recently and said a bunch of stupid stuff about certain races are smarter than other races based on science. And everyone's like, boo you, dude.
I personally disagree with that. It says here, for Dawkins, the meme exemplified another self-replicating unit with a potential significance in explaining human behavior and cultural evolution, which I think is very interesting. It's a sign of the times kind of thing.
What are the next steps? How far does it go from here? It's already so pervasive. I can only see it becoming more pervasive to the point that it's not even noticeable. And then people are like over it and past it. You don't have a cell phone. Like most people have cell phones. And 10 years ago, most people had cell phones.
I think I might have even had a cell phone 10 years ago.
Still, but 20 years ago,
Not very few people did.
I didn't have a cell phone when I was
I
13 years old.
No, I didn't either. I remember when I was first or second grade, maybe, and my dad came home with a cell phone. It was in a big suitcase thing with a battery pack and the giant, handset. And I was blown away. You mean you can talk like in your car on the phone?
I'd seen car phones, but the cell phone was independent. I think my parents had one of those Motorola ones with the battery pack, and the display was red, and it was like a digital clock, and it was a big hefty guy pull out a antenna, this big honking thing. It had like a charger, it was like a walkie-talkie, and it was revolutionary.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, they used cell phone technology or cell phones in the military before it was available to the general public.
That makes sense.
I mean, you see all those Vietnam movies and stuff like that, and the guy's got the pack on his side and the big giant phone, and he's calling to the command chief or whatever.
I always thought those were just radios.
Well, what's the difference at that point? If you're dialing in a specific frequency to call one specific person on that line through a wireless relay system, it's the probably the starting chapter of what was to become cell phones.
Sure. I just never really thought about it.
So when you were a kid, you're watching a bunch of movies, what was a scene from a non-horror movie that scared the pants off you?
Non-horror movie, I'm going to go with... Well, it had horror elements. I'm going to go with Witches.
Okay.
Royal Dolls Witches with Mr. Bean.
Okay.
His name's Rowan Atkinson.
Yeah.
I don't remember who the little kid or the grandma was, but the little kid gets turned into like a rat by the evil witches. And then his grandma, who's like not a witch, is helping him to meet up with like a good witch who's resisting all the bad witches on the council, led by Angelica Huston, who's the head evil witch. And you can tell they're witches because they don't have toes and they wear weird shoes. And there's a scene where they're all like turning into giant evil rat monsters, and there's like green smoke, and she turns into like a big nasty one. Mr. Bean kills her, and it was scary as hell.
Spoiler alert.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, I guess I bet it's not scary anymore.
Totally. I remember getting really scared by the Large Marge scene in Pee-wee's Big Adventure when I was growing up.
I don't have that reference.
Oh, so he's hitchhiking. Something happens. He's trying to find his bike the whole movie. Pee-wee.
Of course, I remember that. Of course.
And he gets picked up by a trucker called Large Marge, and she's telling him this story, and she looks over to him, and at the scary part of the story, and her face turns into this claymation ghoul with the eyes bugging out and her hair going crazy, and Pee-wee Herman flips out and gets out of the semi, and it was scary.
I do remember that vaguely, but I don't remember the scary so much. It sounds scary though.
I mean, it might not have been scary for everybody, but that was one that really, took me for a ride when I was a kid.
I just have like scary. I mean, not like horror. I mean, like Ernest Scared Stupid. Was that a horror movie?
No, I mean, no.
It was the scariest Ernest movie, for sure.
He set the bar high for himself.
I mean, the other ones were Ernest Goes to College. That wasn't scary. Ernest Goes to Camp. That was the first and the best one. That was the first one I ever saw.
Yeah.
A classic. There wasn't anything really scary. When the turtle bit him on the nose, that looked painful, but not so scary. There was Ernest Goes to Jail. That was a good one. He gets electrocuted in that one, and that wasn't scary.
No.
It was suspenseful. Ernest Scared Stupid, though. There's trolls. There's they're killing. There's evil trolls, and they bury the trolls on Halloween, and they have to use like milk or something, and they accidentally wake the trolls up, and Ernest is part of stopping the trolls, and it was terrifying as a kid. Those trolls were scary as fuck.
I remember not being scared by the scene in Willy Wonka when they're going through the tunnel. I think that a lot of people were scared by that. He's, they're going through and they chop the chicken's head off in that one part, and he's singing that little song or whatever, and that was, I think I'm scared more by that as an adult than I was as a child.
I mean, was Jurassic Park a horror movie?
No.
That first scene when the dude gets pulled into the cage.
That's scary.
That was so scary.
That's scary.
All the rest of the movie wasn't nearly as scary. Well, when Samuel L. Jackson's arm fell down on Robert Muldoon in the dark. Or no, she had to turn the power on. It was the lady, Laura Dern. She had to turn the power on. And
That was scary for a couple reasons to me. It was the jump scare initially, and then you get that 1 second of calm. Oh, she's okay. She's got the guy's arm on her shoulder. She's going to be fine. And then she pulls back, and the arm's no longer, or the arms is not attached to the guy anymore.
That's maybe one of the first instances that I can recall of we scared you, but it's okay. But then it's still scary again.
Right.
Like, oh, they like delayed the scare. Like, fucking got me.
You'll bait and switch and switch again.
That was good. That was good.
I don't know why we seem to like to talk a lot about Jurassic Park on this podcast.
I mean, it was a really important movie in our childhoods.
I think it was a really important movie. Well, yes, in our childhoods, definitely. But a lot of people, it was
cinematographically, it was.
Yeah, it took
revolutionary technology, marketing for it. Dude, I had so many of those toys.
Oh yeah, totally. I think I had a set of cups from Burger King or something too.
Sure. There were like, I mean, I don't know, how old was that? I think that was 94. And 94, 95 was the prime time. And I have memories of standing outside the theater, not like in line to wait for it, but like I have a memory of going to see it. Like that like holds. Like I don't know how many other movies that I saw. I remember that. I remember going to see Power Rangers.
Those are both blockbusters for me. I got those from the Blockbuster after they came out on video.
I'm 2 years older than you, so
yeah,
it changes everything. Though,
it does.
Totally,
it definitely does.
Jurassic Park 93.
93. So yeah, I would have been 6 years old or something like that. It
says it's a fantasy sci-fi film.
I'll take it. That sci-fi, absolutely. Sure. There's a lot of science in there.
That's right. I guess I just never. My brain, I wouldn't have thought to classify it as fantasy sci-fi. I would have gone
action adventure. Yeah, no, but that's a good call though on that website that you just looked at, because there's a lot more science in there than a lot of the movies touted as science fiction.
Oh sure, I've seen some bad science fiction movies.
Yeah, there's a lot of them out there.
What did I watch recently that was disappointing? Oh, Life
with Eddie Murphy.
No, that's a fantastic movie. It's not science fiction. They were like. Went to Mars and got some like cell. Spoiler alert: they made a Martian and it killed them all. But they made so many mistakes. It's hard to not critique movies. Like watch a movie, like why would you do that? I mean, you're watching the horror movie, you're like, don't go down in the basement by yourself. You know, they do that shit, and you're like, wow, why? You know, like there's a certain amount of suspension of belief that I can do. Or suspension of disbelief. I can roll with it, you know, like I'm not going to give Star Wars too hard of a time about their warping in and out of places and Star Trek. I'm not going to give them a hard time about that. It's fine. Everybody's flying all over the place and whatever, you know. I'll allow some stuff to go, but there's like sometimes you see things happen in a movie and you're like, well, you could have just totally circumvented the whole thing. You know, often in science fiction movies, they'll be like, the fucking guy's trapped in there with the thing. We gotta save him. Nah. Just like, fuck, he's fucked.
Yeah, he's done. Like, save yourself.
Evacuate him out of the ship. You know, and they never do it. They always they always try to find a way to heal him, or they put him in some unbreakoutable chamber. And then it's like, guess what? It wasn't an unbreakoutable chamber. Who knew?
I saw there was a good meme I saw recently that said how many movies made before the year 1995 would be not movies if they had cell phones.
Oh yeah. Oh, I think about that all the fucking time. What was that one movie? Was it Payphone with Colin Farrell? Like you're fucked. The whole movie's done.
I was thinking about I like to watch Seinfeld, and I think about that a lot. 90% of those episodes would not be valid if they had a cell phone.
No, it's true. I'll be able to just be at the place talking about the thing. Yeah, so many crimes solved, like cell phone tracking technology. Like, where's the killer? I don't know. He calls us from payphones all the time. Like, he calls us from his cell phone. Fucking got him.
Got him.
Yeah, those logical flaws, they really get me sometimes. I don't even mind like a cheap movie if it makes sense. I'm about to go with that wonderful sound. Delish. It's Mountain Dew. You know, we were talking about the van the other day, and I forgot to mention that we spent some serious time invested in trying to get Mountain Dew to give us a van wrap.
Oh, yeah.
I love them. We used to drink a lot of Mountain Dew. I'm still going strong.
Yeah, I built a, well, I don't want to say built, but I made a Christmas tree out of empty Mountain Dew cans one year. That was the year that we were separated. You were at the farm and I was elsewhere in the world. I made a lovely Christmas tree, and it was mostly the throwback Mountain Dews. It had the nice red and green with the white there. It was beautiful,
sure.
Beautiful.
They just, for Christmas, they released a special Mountain Dew, and it was the blend of regular Mountain Dew and Mountain Dew Code Red in like Christmas colored cans. I've been wearing a lot of Christmas colors lately. I have this red coat. It's so red. And I also have green that I like. Christmas colors? Why does Christmas got to steal red and green from me? You know?
Yeah.
Why the police got to steal red and blue?
Well, red and green especially, they're very complementary colors.
They look so good.
They look good together. But the red pops with the green, green pops with the red. But no, you look like Santa's little helper when you wear it all the time.
I have seen some what is it, like Swiss camouflage that is mostly red and green and some like tan in there, and that stuff looks pretty cool. It doesn't make me think about Santa Claus at all.
Mm-mm.
I guess it goes to, I guess maybe here in America we think of this. I don't know about outside of America what the red and green combo invokes in people.
I don't know either. I don't think Christmas is as big in other parts of the world as it is here.
Guarantee it's not. Guarantee it's not.
All right, well, that's a wrap for this one. We'll check you guys later on. And until next time, doot doodle doot doot.
Doot doot.